Please try and sit still, everybody. If you have a question, I'd be happy to. Does anyone have a question?
Stuart?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, with everything going on in the world the last several years, people seem to be more stressed and more challenged in their daily lives. How would you recommend supporting people in our lives and family members that are not having the easiest time dealing with what's going on?
Well, look, you know, you're about 8 billion people have absolutely no idea what's going on here. And look, you can't, I mean, you're not going to fix that. The only thing you can do is literally is you've got to get strong enough so that you can deal with your immediate family, with friends, with your job. You have the inner capacity to quietly and calmly deal with all of the madness in you. You know, and this is really important. There's some kind of squeaking going on. This is really an important thing because we look out at the world and everybody wants to fix what's going on. And yes, rightfully, it's crazy. But nobody thinks the only way to fix all this, people have to fix themselves. People have to get centered, they have to be balanced inside. And if you truly with what you can deal with, yourself. Secondly, family, you know, friends, people in your life. I don't know. You know, friends, people who are close to you, people you love, you know, people in families. You know, you have to build the inner strength to be able to deal with their insecurity, their problems, their, you know, inability to deal with the crazy politics that goes on in this world. You know, all of the, you know, economics that the world is, you know, you're right, it's a complete insane asylum, what's going on. And I don't see any way that I personally can fix that. I do see the possibility of me building my inner life strong enough to deal with it. Strong enough to be able to quietly and openly nurture people in my family, people, friends, people in my classes, you know, and that in itself requires a depth of inner strength. And I don't know where else to go in terms of fixing inflation, fixing recession. I mean, you just pick up a media, read the newspaper. The world is going nuts. But, but you know, frankly, to me, it's simply a reminder that I, in order to be able to live in this world, I have to get strong enough to deal with it. And that strength comes from the building a very deep connection with higher energy in the universe, with God, with developing a chakra system that I'm grounded inside, my heart is open, I'm connected with spirit and transcendental energy. I have the strength to be able to stay quiet amidst all the madness. And, you know, I see it work. I see it work with my own daughter, you know, being with her, being around her, suddenly she gets quiet. She gets calm. She starts talking to me about all kinds of situations. And I listen to her and I don't judge her. I listen. And, you know, yesterday this happened and suddenly by the time I left, she was calm, she was quiet, she was open. She began to see a deeper sense of her own life. I mean, I frankly think that's all we can do. I mean, I say this all the time. I can't remember a day in my life where the world hasn't been crazy. Not one day. I can't remember one day in my life where there hasn't been a war somewhere in the world. People starving, refugees swarming across the earth. My own grandparents were refugees running away from pogroms in Europe and all kinds of stuff like that. And when I was younger, I really had to come to terms with this because I had to march, I had to protest. Look, I ran for 4 years, a not-for-profit organization in Katmandu. I started an ashram there with one of my students. It became a very big situation, actually. And she called me up one day and she says, I don't know what to do here. I love this place. It's really exotic, but I don't know what to do with my time. I said, you're in one of the poorest countries in the world. Something is going to come. The next day, she went to a meeting at the United Nations in Katmandu, and they're talking about 10,000 young children, 10 years old, 12 years old, 15 years old, were being trafficked from Nepal to India and winding up young girls, winding up in brothels. I mean, it's had to be simply one of those horrible things I ever heard about in my life. So I said to her, there's the work we have to do. And we set up a not-for-profit. We started running a situation there, which was a safe house, taking in children that were prime targets for, and along with that, we were running a meditation center there so that people could learn. And it was incredible because, in Nepal, the different classes won't even go near each other, And we had people from every single class, from untouchables to the Brahmins, sitting in that meditation class. Nobody could believe it. And on top of it, running a situation that was saving the lives of young kids. We did this for 4 years, and Chris was there running this thing, God bless her, and, in contact with me just about every day about what was going on. Meanwhile, I'm running around the world teaching this meditation in Athens and Paris and Berlin and, Katmandu, whatever. And Katmandu is like it's kind of like it's one of the most, smog-infested places you'd ever want to live in. It's right in a valley. They have all these putt-putts and diesel cars, and it was impossible. And she was getting emphysema. So I said to her, come back home, come to my house in New York, and spend 3 months, we'll heal you here, What should I do with the Bahini Foundation? I said, give it to Aruna Reddy. Aruna was a doctor we used to work with who ran an organization called Arrest, And, I'm telling you, we gave it to Aruna. She was running, and after I wrote this book I wrote called Little Sisters, I don't know how many of you know about this book, but it was about that situation in Katmandu and India. It was a novel and a kind of love story, but it really took you into the darkness of that world. Aruna first got in touch with me and said, how could you write a book like that? You're going to, and I said, Aruna, read it. So she read the book. I got her a copy of the book. She read it, wrote me back. She had tears in her eyes. She had tears in her eyes throughout the whole book. She said, it's so completely captured what is going on. But anyway, the point of this story is that after I wrote the book, I started a not-for-profit foundation called the Little Sisters Foundation here in America. And I was doing lectures, I was doing, events with senators, with DAs, with mayors all over the United States about, human trafficking. And I began to realize, Stuart, this situation is just getting worse. You're investing so much energy in this, and all it is getting worse. Discovered that there were $28 billion a year made every year off of human trafficking, and it was just getting worse. And I said to myself, Stuart, your job is to nurture people, to help them get strong enough, so that they can truly build a life for themselves, and are capable of dealing with the madness in the world. And I had to step away from all that sociological stuff and all that, and just do this meditation, because this meditation will build people strong enough, And then I had tears in my eyes. I got a phone call from Aruna. Never forget this. She said, because you started the Bahini Foundation in Katmandu, it saved the lives of 10,000 young girls. I mean, it was incredible. We used to have the government, the prime minister, used to come to us and thank us for doing, was the first organization of its kind in Nepal, for doing in Nepal what the Nepalese people couldn't do for themselves. We had them come and tell us that. And at the same time, I realized that this meditation, this inner work, can build people that are strong enough to not only not get swept away in human trafficking and all the insanity in the world, but build lives that can nurture other people, and help other people and give life to other people. I mean, I've had to deal with the madness in the world, and I dealt with it head on, confronted it head on with no bullshit. Just went and did it. Chris did it. It was extraordinary.
Thank you for sharing that, Stuart.
2 o'clock.
You're welcome, Larry. And all I wanted to tell you is, I mean, I always, somewhere in my heart of hearts, honestly believe that more people are going to do this work, because the strength and the power that you can build by developing chakras, by building an inner life, enables you to do the kind of things I used to do. You're not afraid to go and do things in the world. But anyway, that's one little segment of my life. I mean, I try to get them in Hollywood to do a movie of Little Sisters. Nobody believed, this is back in 1993, 4, nobody believed me. I used to have people tell me shit like, well, what do I give a damn? These people live in Nepal. I really had people tell me this. And today, it's headlines and front page headlines in newspapers. And still one of the most serious problems on the earth, this whole thing of human trafficking. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I mean, it's a big world out there, and there's so many problems in this world, and there's so many opportunities for people to help, but people need the strength to do it. They need the foundation, the power. Otherwise, you get involved in these situations, and they just suck your life out of you. I used to see these sociologists and people I used to do, lectures with. I mean, this whole problem was just literally sucking their life out of them. I remember when I was I wrote that book, and I turned Little Sisters into a play because I wanted to put it on in high schools all over America. I really did. I took the book and took it from Nepalese, Indian to New York street kids doing hip hop music and stuff like that. And I had people that wanted to produce this play in Oregon to get started there, And I had to deal with the theater world. And I said, holy crap, this is really a strange world. So I had to deal with it. So I finally just said, no, Stuart, your job is to nurture people and to help them build systems. And if people involved in human trafficking want to come here, you're welcome. I mean, I've had street people come and study. I've had all kinds of people in prisons. You're welcome. If they want to learn this. It's open to anyone who truly wants to do it. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, if there are no questions, you have to pardon my cough. About 2 weeks ago, I had COVID. And every time I get a flu or so, I get this cough. It sometimes goes on for weeks, months. Okay, if there are no more questions, then there will be a class on Sunday. God bless you all. Thank you for being here, for being part of this. As I say a million times over, you're all my guru, I come here, I learn, I grow, and I'm very grateful to every person that really comes and attends these classes. So thank God.
You're welcome. Thank you too. God bless you.
See you all soon.